Hey, Guru Nation, welcome back, guys and gals. Mostly gals and guys, actually. So thank you, ladies out there. This is Dan Sfera, Random Musings from the Clinical Trials Guru. I got a special guest, Khadijah Washington, on. She's a CRA at a small CRO, small is the new big. She reached out to me on LinkedIn, like, hey, you know what? More or less, like, I did what you say in the videos. We'll let her share, but I did what you said in the videos, and now I'm a CRA, and I'm looking at her LinkedIn, and yeah, graduated college not too long ago. Currently an MBA. Wait, you're getting an MBA and a master's in clinical research?
Yes, I'm currently in a dual program, so getting both at the same
Wow.
time.
And you're
Yeah.
a full-time CRA.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know how you do it. Do you sleep, Khadijah? How what are you doing to be able to do all this?
Well, I usually get up at about 4 or 5 o'clock. Working from home definitely helps just
Ah,
be able to
yes.
complete everything, cutting down on that travel time and everything like that. So, just really have to stay organized, but that's a big part of
Wow.
research.
We got to get into each of these positions one by one, kind of. But
Okay.
let's start with okay. So graduate with a bachelor's, 2017. You became a clinical research assistant in December of 2018. So when did you get? When did you become aware of clinical research?
So I did some bench research in undergrad, and I had a mentor, and she was also my advisor. I think she had patented a drug or something like that. She was working with a big pharmaceutical company, and she told me, she felt like I was really organized, and maybe I should kind of venture into a different route because originally I was thinking about pharmacy. So she was like, I think you should look into some different career paths, and then she kind of introduced me to clinical research in that aspect.
Ah, you see.
Yeah.
We all need to have a mentor or somebody when we don't know what we're doing. This is a common theme for us in the industry. All right, so then you graduated, you started applying right away, or what were you doing? Like learning the different positions? What were you doing? Like, because you got your first job was clinical research assistant for a pretty big research site, it looks like, right?
It was a PI owned, but it was
Okay.
it was a nice size. A nice
Small,
size.
small is the new big, guys. The smaller, the better. We're gonna get into the
Right.
CRO. She works for a small CRO too. Look, at the rate you're going, let me give everyone an overview before we go company by company because this is impressive. So, clinical research assistant for about 5 months, then clinical research coordinator um, for about 6 months, clinical research coordinator with another company for about 7 months, CRC2 at a cancer center for 8 months, in house CRA for 5 months with no gaps in resume. And this is amazing. And then you're such a Gen Z, but these people are saying, they were saying millennials are bad. Well, Gen Z, this is not bad, by the way. This is how you level up quickly. Like, learn from Khadijah. We don't care if the employers, if you guys hate this show, because you're always going to need to retain your staff. Like, if you don't promote them, they're gonna, especially in 2021, they're in high demand, right? So
Yes.
now senior CRA for a small CRO, and we were joking before the episode. At the rate you're going, you'll be lead CRA before 2021 is over, Khadijah.
I would love it.
So congrats. Was this intentional? Like just leveling up? Was it like my videos on steroids that you were trying to follow like the blueprint, or like what was it that made you do this, because it's very quick and it's actually pretty impressive how you did that.
Oh, honestly, it just kind of was a push from my employers without them knowing. Just the praises that they were constantly giving, like, "Oh, you're so great at the job," or "You're so organized," or "You do so well." And
Uh,
I'm like, "Well, if I'm good at this position, why wouldn't I be good at this position?" So it's
dang
just
it.
kind of like
No more
the
praising
feedback.
staff.
Yeah.
Wow. So it gave you confidence. They're like, okay, wow, these guys are saying I'm doing really good. So let's try to tweak the resume and put it out there.
Right, yes, and then your videos definitely added to that confidence. Previously, I felt like, "Oh, I need to graduate from my master's programs
Mm.
before, like, pursuing a different career or, like, progressing," but then I started watching your videos, and I'm like, "Hey, a lot of the stuff he's saying you need to qualify for this position, I already have. I just need to word it a different way on my resume, or maybe I'm not getting pulled up in the searches because I don't have the right terminology in my resume." So I just started, like, I spent like maybe a week just watching your videos and kind of tweaking my resume, adding some of the
Wow.
key qualities that you said they were looking for. And it worked. It was like
Did
magic.
you That's amazing. That's amazing, Khadijah. Did you happen to see the video with Ashley Margot? She talks exactly about this, like how to tweak your resume and your LinkedIn with exactly like with terminology and all that stuff. Did you happen to see that video?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't want to say I did and I didn't. So
Okay, yeah, yeah. She's done a few on my channel, but she's one of the CRA Academy instructors who comes on and teaches. And then for the CRC Academy, she actually does the students' resumes. So exactly what you said is what she preaches all the time to the students, and it's this is really good. And you are right in the sense that why wait? Because even though I keep saying we're in a great, probably decade of clinical research, it's never been this good as it is now as far as supply and demand. There's just not enough staff to keep up with the work in this industry. I think that's only going to continue if you see what's happening with all the variants and with just, I mean, now there's obviously, unfortunately, a fentanyl epidemic as well. Where
mhm,
similar to the opioid epidemics back a couple years back. All this is draining resources. So you are right in the sense that why wait till you finish your master's degree? If you can do it now, why not do it now? It's always better to do it now and then have this experience on your CV.
agreed. Agreed.
What
Definitely. Now, I do want to add that it's not like oh, I apply for two or three jobs and then get one interview and ace that interview. No, it's like actually putting in the time to apply to maybe 20 to 30 jobs a day. And then out of those 20 to 30, maybe get five interviews and two callbacks. So
okay. So you were not afraid. Why were you not afraid of rejection? Because a lot of people, they would maybe think, okay, I'm going to put my CV out there and then just get rejected a few times and give up and say, well, maybe I don't belong at this position yet. Maybe I'll finish my master's degree and then I'll do it. What made you not do that?
because I just felt like I was a good fit for someone. Like, no is a part of life. Honestly, at this point, I've learned, and for every 100 no's, I felt like it was going to be a yes out there. Even with applying for the CRC positions, going from a research assistant to a CRC, it was a lot of no's. But I just constantly kept in my mind, it's going to be a yes. You just can't give up. If you really want it, you just have to keep going for it.
Hmm. And what do you think about CRA so far?
I like it. Honestly, I like it. You know, I'm not sure how a lot of others feel, but I do feel like being a CRA is a lot easier than being an in-house CRA when it comes to,
Easier,
yes,
really?
definitely, definitely,
Wow, I've never heard
definitely.
someone say that. So what? So you were, yeah, you were in-house CRA, and then now you're CRA. So what makes it easier, do you think, or for you?
Just the study startup aspect is a lot more intensive. Being a CRA, you kind of, well, most of my sites, so I only have been a CRA for maybe a month and a half at this point, but most of my sites have already been started So it's just more so on the monitoring aspect at this point. So it's not as intensive and requiring as much from the sites. So
Yeah.
I think
Did you do a SIV or so far for the sites, or were you brought on like when the sites were already activated?
right. So all my sites are already activated. I
Ah,
do have
okay.
some new sites coming up, but at this point, not I haven't done an SIV or anything like that.
Okay. And you're working from home other than the traveling?
Yes. Yep.
All right. And are you guys doing remote monitoring visits or a hybrid, or are you doing just regular in-person visits?
So a hybrid, it honestly just depends on what the sites are willing to do.
Oh,
You
it's up
know,
to the site. So if the site say, "Hey, we prefer you come here," you go there, and if they say you're not allowed back here yet, it's remote.
right? So we try to push to go on site, but if they say right now, that's just not feasible, then we'll do
I
a
got
remote
you.
visit.
I got
Yeah.
you. I'm glad you said that because yeah, people are having this debate all the time, and it's like most people, most sponsors, most CROs still prefer that the CRA go on site, even though we're in the age of digitization and all that. Uh, if you ask most sponsors, they prefer the CRA go on site still. So I think a lot more work needs to be done to make like the remote monitoring the norm. Right now, in-person monitoring is still the norm. It just happens to be in the middle of a pandemic, so can't be the norm all the time. Interesting that you say CRA slightly less busy or hectic than in-house CRA. I would have thought the opposite. I've never done in-house CRA, but that's good. That's interesting to hear that. Now, what about coordinator? What did you enjoy study coordinator?
Yes, yes, I did. So I did not mention this in the beginning, but I actually had a brother who was in clinical trials when we were younger. He had brain cancer,
Ah,
so that was kind of like assisted in. I would say maybe the primary contributor to this drive in clinical research. But they were so kind to him. Everything was free. We got I think he was here for additional 2 years because of the treatment that he received while on a
wow,
trial.
wow.
So that in person connection when it comes to being a coordinator with the patients, it was really difficult, but it felt great as well. So I will always have like a special place for coordinators.
Oh, of course. So
Yeah,
that, yeah, and then you did a coordinator too at a cancer center.
exactly.
Were the other sites oncology or multi-therapeutic or um,
uh, Variation. So the first site I worked at was a psych site, but after that,
no
the
wonder I
PIs.
recognize the name. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I got my start too, CNS. That's a tough CNS and oncology are like the toughest, in my opinion, the toughest two indications. Like for somebody that doesn't know anything about either one, to do CNS is challenging, and same with oncology. What did you do? Did you find the same?
Uh, yes. Well, oncology specifically, I thought was intense. It is a lot of requirements, and I came from like going from a larger cancer center from like smaller sites. It was a big difference on the things that the coordinators could actually do. So honestly, when I first got the job, I was like, "Well, what does our job consist of?" Because we weren't allowed to do blood draws, we weren't taking blood pressures, doing EKGs, processing labs, nothing. It was just all paperwork. It was actually coordinating, like make sure this person does this at this time, make sure all these are collected. It was actually, the direct definition of coordinating. But yeah, I think it's a lot more intense. I think oncology definitely prepares you for everything.
And for monitoring, absolutely. So now,
Yes,
what indications are you monitoring? I'm just curious.
just oncology.
Oncology. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That explains why I haven't heard of the CRA. See, I'm a contract CRA also, like as a side job. It's winding down, thankfully, because I'm getting busy on the sites now. But the I do oncology also. I do breast cancer, and it's a CRO most people never heard of. It's on my LinkedIn profile, but Yeah, there's something about working for the smaller, and I know you've only been there 3 months, but there's something about working for these smaller, like boutique or specialty CROs that I think you can grow a lot quicker than if you were at an IKEA. Um, you're just given a lot more responsibilities early on. And I know you don't
Yes.
have a reference point, but are you seeing that you're being given like a lot of responsibilities?
Well, honestly, compared to some of my friends who are CRAs, definitely. It's just I have a lot of side projects. So, like, if you once you finish this, start working on this, and a lot of my side projects that I've been working on so far deal with like budgeting, invoices, contract negotiations. Well,
Really?
yeah. So, I mean,
Khadijah, you are becoming a generalist before our eyes.
Yeah, so I definitely enjoy working at the smaller sites. Smaller CROs, sponsors, sites, because you kind of are allowed to have your hands on a little bit of everything.
Wow,
Yes.
You Gen Z people are impressive. I
Oh, and
remember.
I did not mention I am also currently contracting as well. Well, I just got my first contracting job, so it's definitely a different experience.
So in addition to this, you're contracting as well.
Yes, as a CTA.
Wow.
Yes.
This is I'm so glad we're doing this interview. I'm actually like a little bit speechless. How? But this is proof, guys. Khadijah, I didn't really know her. We have a few messages back and forth, but it's not like we talked very much, just on LinkedIn. I'm going through our messages now. So, yeah, I see the in-house CRA. I'm like, yeah, give some like as much advice as I can, man. And then so you go from CRC in less in 2 years, about 2 years, to CRA and contract CRA on top of it, which is like so hard to do because usually you need. Oh, Khadijah, I gotta have you as a guest lecturer on the CRA Academy because we have, yes, I talk to some of the monitors that monitor my sites. These are people that have been with the same CRO for like a decade. Maybe that's exaggeration, like 5 years or so. They have a lot of experience. I mean, 5 years of being a CRA, but they're afraid to go contract route because they're afraid of losing or potentially missing out on income during certain periods of time. And the way you're doing it is risk free because
Yeah.
you already have a job. Now you're a contract, and this is the perfect time to do it. I'm just curious for that contract role as a CTA. I imagine there's very little travel, if none, involved, right?
No travel, and I only do, I think, maximum of 12 hours a week.
12?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm guessing it's a smaller company also?
Yes, so this is a smaller sponsor.
Sponsor.
Yes.
Wow. You need to add this to your CV or to your LinkedIn because I didn't see
I
that one.
didn't know this is like my second month with them. I didn't know how to put both at the same time or if I wanted
Oh, yeah,
to,
you can.
but still
Oh, if you want
considering
to,
it.
it's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think so. I think that a lot of the CRAs I talk to, the they're afraid of going contract, and people who want contract CRAs typically want them to have experience being contract series. So a lot of people like it's just like the same problem again as breaking into the industry. Yeah, you've never been a contract CRA. So like I would definitely add that to your resume and maybe LinkedIn. Once you know for sure that it's going to be something that you're going to do for a while, I would definitely add that to your LinkedIn because and the sponsor work is impressive as well. Is that oncology also?
No, it's a CNS.
Oh, okay, good. So now
Yeah.
you're still getting the various different therapeutic expertise under your belt as well. You're doing this exactly the right way. What is your what's your like longer longer range goals? Let's say like a year or 2 years.
So I thought I had a long-term goals with a goal within the next 2 years, but since things have been progressing so quickly, that has kind of changed. But I know within the next 5 years, I definitely want to look into opening my own site.
I was gonna say I just didn't want to plant seeds in your head that weren't there already. So site ownership, definitely a lot of CRAs want to do that. Yeah, my advice for you would be you seem to be in a good spot right now. So I would stay put. If you really want to do site ownership, I would stay where you are as a CRA, and then the contract thing, I would try to gain like multi-therapeutic expertise. So you have CNS and oncology. I would try to get like family practice if you can, or just other indications. Because when you open a site, you're gonna want different indications. It's very hard to get cancer. Like it's very difficult to open a cancer research clinic because most oncologists, it's very rare to find an independent oncologist, community based oncologists. Most of them work for academic medical centers or large organizations. So it's really tough for you to get an oncologist as your PI, but it's not so tough to get a family practice physician as your PI. So
Right,
I think if I were you, the only changes I would make would be to your contracting positions to look for contracts with like family medicine if you can get any, and CTA, even if it's CTA, remote CTA stuff that would allow you to still work at your current place and do the CTA things. So I
right,
think that would help you in your goals to own a site, but definitely don't change anything. Keep doing what you're doing. It seems like it's a good place to be with the CRA, the full time CRA gig. You're definitely going to pick up on a lot of things. And then when you open the site, you're going to go back, you're going to revert back to your coordinator days because that's going to be closer to what you're going to be doing as a site owner. But now you're going to have contacts in the industry. And see, the good thing about contracting is you could make connections quicker with different companies because
right,
you're not like an employee, you're going from contract to contract. So you're going to meet a whole bunch of people, just network with all the colleagues, all your staff, coworkers there, because you never know who you're going to tap into when you do the site ownership thing.
right, right. I will say, contracting is fun. Well,
Yeah.
in my opinion, definitely, it's very different from a salary position or that full time role. I really love contracting so far. Well, it's only been a month, but month and a half, but
they
it's
want
great.
they want self starters, for contracting. They don't want to tell you what to do. They just give you the task, a job, and they're like, you got to do it. You know what you need to do to get this done. Contracting is exciting. How did you? A lot of people. This is where a lot of people also who want to be contractors but never do it. They get caught up on the actual contract. Like they're afraid, oh, I don't know how to do this contract or how to negotiate my contract. What was that like for you? Did you ever run into issues with that?
No. So, my contract is month to month. Is kind of just helping them over this hump that they're going through right now. Um, this company has offered me a full time position, but I do prefer the contract role. But the negotiation portion for the contract wasn't hard at all. They kind of just asked me, well, what do we need to give you to get us on the team to help? We need someone to help immediately. And this could have
Wow.
just been like a specific situation, a different situation. But they were like, we need your help immediately. What can we give you to get you on the team? So I did a bit of research on just contract positions. Everything's on
Wow.
the internet. Everything's on the internet. Typical salary, how much I would want to make with those limited hours, and then honestly, I had to do some organization and determine how much time I had to give to the company because, of course, I want to maintain a good relationship, and don't want to make promises that I can't keep. So, you know,
So
put
they're
all that
both
into
they're both aware that you have the other job as well.
yes, Yes.
That's the right way to do it because you don't want to burn bridges. I know there's people out there that are taking two W-2 employee jobs at the same time, and I'm not one to judge, but it's like, look, that's not sustainable long term. Somebody's gonna get mad. Some line manager is gonna get the short end of that stick because you got to sleep and eat. You don't have time to do two W-2. The way you're doing is the right way to do it. And even going full contractor. But I would say at your stage in your career, you want to get some CRA experience under your
Right.
belt, like probably 2 years of at least 2 years of CRA experience. And pretty soon you're going to start getting contract CRA jobs too.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, I think that's coming. And you're in Orlando, you said?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the company that I contract with, they're always asking for California. That's why they got like I got the contracts. They're always looking for West Coast people, but Florida, I think there's also kind of a shortage of CRAs in Florida. Not sites. There's not a shortage of sites in Florida, but there's definitely a shortage of CRAs out there. That's cool, Khadijah. I really like what you did. You know how I was laughing like a minute ago because I have so many people reaching out to me, and I'm putting myself in their shoes. They're watching this video and they're like, "What? How is she? She can't, she could say yes to whatever she wants. This they're just throwing jobs at her, and I can't even get one. What advice do you have for them?"
It does not work like that. I mean, every story has hours of work behind it. If no one is throwing jobs at me, you really just have to apply. Like, sell yourself and know that, I feel like sometimes we feel like, oh, this is an interview and we get nervous and we clam up and we don't really sell ourselves to the best of our abilities. But know that not only are they interviewing you, but you're interviewing them as well to determine if this is a good fit. And it's also okay to leave after 3 months if you feel like this is not a good fit. I mean, it's a trial period for them just like it is for you. So just keep in mind that, it's a back and forth interaction. Don't look at every employer as your superior.
Yeah, I think it's that first one that's the toughest. Like once you get that first job, it becomes a lot easier. And also, once you make your first transition from site to either CRO or a sponsor level, that's like your next level of. I've never done a video on that, but everybody knows your first job in research is the hardest one to get. But the second hardest one, maybe just as hard, is going from like coordinator to CRA because you're going from site culture to CRO or sponsor culture. And now in like 2 years, you've worked at every stakeholder level you can, which do you know, Khadijah, there are people in this industry 20 years that haven't done what you've done in 2 years? The like site, CRO, sponsor, on top of that contractor, there are people, I kid you, this is not exaggeration. 20 years they haven't done this, and you've done it already in 2 years. So Khadijah's definitely someone to get to know. I will put her LinkedIn underneath this video. I will also put her LinkedIn in the show notes because you guys have to connect with her. I noticed she's also a member of Black Women in Clinical Research. So you guys have to make sure that you network with one another. And we'd love to have you also on Latinos in Clinical Research when we talk about how to go from employee to contractor and how to get different contract. There's so much you can do, Khadijah. I don't think you are even aware. That's why, like when you messaged me, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I like the success story of like going from CRC to CRA. But when I looked at your profile, I'm like, oh no, you've done way more than I thought. You've gone from every stakeholder in this industry already in 2 years just by tweaking your CV after every job.
Yeah, honestly, I'm telling you. And the funniest part is my coworker, we set out to do this together when I was working at Moffitt Cancer Center. And she actually encouraged me to send you a message. She was like, yeah, I messaged him and he was
Wow.
really approachable. He was nice and he responded really quickly because you have so many followers and you seem like such a big, clinical research personality that it just feels like sometimes people like that can be unapproachable or just
No, no.
on another galaxy. Like you're like a clinical research celebrity. So
Oh man.
it was
Yeah, no, no. Definitely not unapproachable. I want more like yeah, I love interacting with people even if my responses are like short, but if I see the person's like keeps asking like good questions, that's I'll take more time, but if you just ask how do I get in? I send a link to my website so you can see. But if you ask specific like hey, in-house CRA, like what do you do with TMF? What do you do with study startup? What are some of the challenges? I can tell when someone's done their background and their homework, and then they just need like a little pointers here and there. So thank you for that, Khadijah. I appreciate it.
oh, thank you.
And we definitely got a network. Look, we got to have, let's see here. Well, I can't track who will be like your 10th follower. So I was going to do a contest, but I can't because I'm not going to know who's number 10. I don't know. We'll think of something. Just follow her. You don't need a contest, guys. Getting to know Khadijah is the reward in and of itself. Networking with her is the reward in and of itself. So drop her a message. Tell her you saw her on the podcast. Tell her that you're impressed with what she's done. And then let me know that you did that. And who knows? Maybe we'll send you a book or something if you do that. It's a lot of work, but it's good. Go follow. Say hi to her. Tell me that you did that. Maybe I'll send you a book. How about that? So, Khadijah, anything else like advice? Mostly people seeking advice as we wrap up. Any last words you can
Just
give people?
honestly, don't be afraid to say, I mean, well, don't be afraid of that no. Keep trying. Don't be afraid of that no, and don't feel like you're not qualified for a position. The worst thing you could do is not see if you are qualified for the position. Take the chance, especially
What
right now while the industry is booming. Take the chance.
What do you think? Obviously, you had both. You had the know-how, you had the knowledge, and you also had the confidence. Which one do you think is more important in the job search?
I would say the confidence, honestly.
Yes.
Definitely the confidence. I've learned with every company that I've gone to, everyone has a specific way that they want things done. So even if you feel like you've spent 15 years at this company and you know how to do everything, the next company is probably not going to want you to do it the exact same way. So just
Right.
have that confidence of, I'm going to get in here, I'm going to go through the learning period, the training, and I'm going to be able to accomplish everything they throw at me.
I
Have
like
confidence
that.
in yourself.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that because I agree 100%. It's the confidence is the most important. The knowledge you can get, knowledge is almost free. Confidence is not, ambition is not. So thank you very much, Khadijah, for coming on. Everybody go connect with her. LinkedIn profile underneath, and we'll catch y'all later. You're an inspiration, Khadijah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.